weird way, get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophy. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, I'm on my weird way, get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophies. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, killing my verses, living my purpose. Yeah, killing my burdens, giving my service. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Gorilla Cross Radio, streaming live on GorillaCross.com, the Gorilla Cross app, and all of our social media pages, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We are here every Monday, 1 p.m. West Coast time, every Thursday, 1 or whenever, West Coast time, 1-ish West Coast time. Even Mondays are 1-ish. It's whenever we go live. We go, you know.
It's a podcast.
That's the beautiful thing about going live. You go whenever you want.
We don't have sponsors right now that are on our backs. We don't have owners that tell Quan what to do.
Exactly.
Because he owns the studio. He owns the space.
Exactly. Just in time, Josh Williams in the building. What's good?
Just in time was just a little late today.
A lot late.
You know, I apologize. I apologize to you out there because that's on me.
Well, don't apologize to them out there because there's one person in the building that is never late for anything. He called me at 12:15 saying, "Hey, I'm here." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not." And special guest in the building. The worst time for you to ever be late was today.
Fair enough.
Because he's kicked me out of church for being late before. And he hasn't let me back in. But my man, Pastor Danny Hand in the building. Was good.
Good to be with you, guys. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
5'9". Let's do it.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
On time as usual.
On early.
Punctual.
But being that early on time though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a saying at my school: to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is to be unacceptable. So.
I'm just, as a pastor, I'm always rapture ready. Let's go.
Rapture ready.
Oh, no.
Let's go.
Rapture ready.
Way to turn it. Turn it back to the Lord. That's how you do that. That's how you do that.
There we go. Listen, man, we're going to jump right into our guests. We might talk a little bit of other sports going on. Shout out Phoenix Suns. They advanced to the NBA Finals. This is the year of the it's not the what's the trophy? The Larry O'Brien?
Yeah.
This is the Healthy O'Brien Trophy. The healthiest team will win the NBA Finals this year. That's pretty much what it is.
That's the truth.
But we do have a special guest live in the studio, man. We definitely appreciate him coming in. He's been in before, and he is here again, man. Off his last fight on Saturday morning. We can talk to him about that, see if that affects anything. But a Saturday morning UFC fight. My man Justin Jaynes is back live in the studio. Justin, what's good?
Man, just living the dream out in Vegas, man. Doing
Yeah.
a lot.
So you had a fight this weekend.
Yes, sir.
But that wasn't it. So the big story, and turn your phones down. I'm not sure whose phone might be up.
Not mine.
Okay. Is your phone dead?
No.
Okay.
I'm at 90% and
Just
it
making sure.
is muted.
Just making sure. The big story was on Friday. It came out that you wanted to put all your money that you were getting on this fight, and you wanted to bet it on yourself. And this is Vegas. People bet in Vegas. You bet. I bet once in a while. I actually lost a bet to you. We'll talk about that later.
I don't bet.
You don't bet.
It's not of the cloth. We understand.
We appreciate that. Amen.
We are all trying to be new creations in Christ.
Jesus' name, amen.
So we understand.
I feel the awkwardness in the room right now. I tell you. The tension's thick.
But it's Vegas. So, I mean, Vegas is, it's built on people coming out here to gamble, to bet. Sports betting's huge out here, obviously. We see March Madness. Everyone's out here betting. And so you decided, Justin, to bet on yourself, which to me is the best bet. You believe in yourself more than anyone else, right? Talk about that and that decision to do that and to kind of announce that publicly.
I got a lot of publicity, a lot more publicity than I expected it to get. I went on Overtime Heroic podcast prior. I was inspired by another teammate, actually, was in the UFC. I'm not going to mention his name, but he talked about he was going to bet his whole purse. He believes in himself. He believes he's the best. And I was like, wow, man, that's awesome. And then his fight comes, and he doesn't bet anything on himself. And I was like, oh, wow, all right,
wow.
shit.
He did not put his money where his mouth was.
He didn't put his money where his mouth is. So, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Eric Nixick, and, there's a lot of haters saying that this isn't a real thing. Like, I really didn't do this, but anybody that knows me knows that I did this and I would do it again. Well, anyways, talked to Eric, and you can't. I don't have 25 grand just laying around. I can't just go to a casino and be like, all right, here's 25 grand. So I did all the bets on credit. And I'm not going to mention the bookies' names. I had 4 or 5 bookies that I was able to go through, and I still owe one, like 12 grand right now. Yeah, at the end of the day, I felt I had a perfect fight camp. I had a perfect preparation. My coaches believed in me. They even wanted to wager their money that I was going to pay them.
Yeah.
It's just the stars seemed lined up. I just didn't see any situation where I could lose this fight, and unfortunately, I was wrong, man. And I'm paying the ultimate price. And in this silly game that we play called MMA, I've had the highest highs, the best day of my life, and that probably was one of the worst days of my life. Sure. But to put everything in perspective, I still have my health. I'm still healthy.
Came out of the fight healthy.
Came out of the fight. I have very minimal injuries. I have a hurt leg, and my nose is a little fucked up. But at the end of the day, I'm still walking. I'm still talking, and to put things in perspective, a really good friend of mine, again, not going to mention his name, just keep his private life personal.
Yeah.
He took his wife, into the hospital with some pain physically, dropped her off. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Comes back, and she has a brain aneurysm while she's in the hospital, and she passes away.
Oh, wow.
Charles?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Charles Lee.
Wow.
Yep,
Wow.
absolutely. And,
Wow.
and then, the day after my fight, I called my best friend. He's, a 60-year-old man. He's my best friend. I call him. I was like, hey, you coming out to have dinner with us? He's like, I'm not feeling well. Next thing I know, he has sepsis, and he's been in the hospital all week, man. So, I lost a lot of money, and it hurts. But at the end of the day, I still have my health. I still have my family. And, it could be a lot worse. So I don't want to exaggerate and be like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I mean, it's a terrible thing.
But you're moving forward.
At the end of the day, I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
And, I've been in holes before, and, the hole could be a lot deeper, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to dig out of this, and, I'll be back.
Because money comes and goes, and you're right. I mean, health and life is so much bigger than money, right? And seeing that you see that perspective too is just awesome. But it is hard. So I mean, how do you feel after that? And you deal with trolls all over social media, which I think is hilarious. I was jumping in on some of them. How do you deal with that going forward after you do take the loss, and now you have to face with people talking? Even some other fighters were saying stuff. So how do you go about doing that and moving forward?
It's just one foot in front of the other, man. It's very tough. I'm very, very petty when it comes to other people, talking shit about. I'm super petty, man. If I have 1,500 messages in my Instagram, I'm answering every mother effer, and I'm gonna tell them how I feel. Like these guys are telling me, hey, you owe me money. I bet on you. You owe me money. All right, 4055 West Sunset. They're Monday through Friday. Come collect, Playboys. Let's go. These guys, people want to fight me for it's crazy. Like some of the messages I get. It's
and I would give props to one of them to actually show up at Extreme.
I really, I'm in a bad spot right now, honestly. Like mentally, I really hope nobody shows up because it's gonna be really bad. Like I'm not pulling any punches, man. I'm not in a good spot. So
you're gonna have to get pulled off.
It's gonna be really bad. And I'm not saying I'm a super tough guy that's like goes around picking fights, but I've dedicated my whole life to this sport, man.
Sure.
I'm Richmond, Michigan. I come from a small country town. Blue collar town. I graduated with 100 kids, and in 2009 I was faced with the decision of coming out here and moving. In another sense, all in, man. I moved away from my family. I've missed 10 years of my son's life growing up. Not being there after school every day, helping with homework and stuff, so I could get to the UFC and really put everything I have in one basket. And that's kind of like my whole life thing. Is I'm just all in, whether it's in MMA, whether it's whatever I do. It's just I sell out, and I thought this was the perfect time and a perfect camp, and it's that money was spent already before, what I mean? I already,
before you even
dude, I'm telling you, man, I never saw a situation to where I could lose. I was prepared to lose, but I never saw a situation to where I was going to lose.
Yeah.
And you talk about being all in. I mean, that there's something to be said about you have put everything in the middle of the table. There is nothing behind you. Everything is in front of you. We talked a little bit before, just to give people a little bit more background. We could have started about 20 minutes earlier, but we were talking about your fight and watching the fight together. What are some things that I know that you said that you felt as if you couldn't have changed, the overall outcome, but if in a perfect world, or if, now that you can look back at the fight, what things would you have done differently, or what would you have told yourself going into it if you had that hindsight?
Nothing. Honestly, it was everything was so perfect. Like it's, I don't even know what to say, because it was, as I told my coaches, Jake Shields, Dennis Davis, Roman Isbell. I said I feel way too good. That was my only concern. Check about this, but the only problem I had in this whole fight is I felt too good. Like that, I've never felt so confident. I've never felt so strong. I've never had my weight under control as much as I did. I mean, no injuries. I think I got stitches on my left brow like 3 weeks ago from a headbutt. That's the only injury I took in a 9-week fight camp. That never happens. Like I always break something. I'll break my hand. I'll hurt my shoulder, hurt my knee. Like the fighters typically after a full fight camp, they don't go into the fight 100%. And this is a misconception that perfect fight camp. Look at Kevin Lee, good friend, good training partner, man. He's just rolling around at the gym, just grappling, pops his rib out, boom, done.
Yeah.
He's not going to fight till August now. He's moving from July 10th to August. Shit. I mean, it's just things just happen, and a lot of accidents happen. And there's been times where I'll be wrestling and I'll slip and sweat, and it's like, I hurt my knee, and I can't train for a week. I didn't have any of that, man. Like I said,
and I know there's a female fighter. She was a Contender Series, Sarah. Can't remember her last name. I'll find it. But she, Logan Paul, or one of the Paul brothers, donated $5,000.
Oh, that was to her.
To her for her fight camp, because she missed something happened with the last 3 fights.
Yeah.
And so you're paying for the camp.
Sure.
And she lost out on all of them because she was never able to fight. And so Triller actually just donated $25,000 to her also.
Wow.
So you see that? I mean, you're putting money into this training, and that's what people don't see. And so when trolls and even other fighters, which takes me by surprise that they're going in trying to tell you what to do with your money, are going in and talking. You don't know what these people are going through to get to this point to where they're on TV to entertain you.
Yeah.
You don't know the weeks. And you've taken fights on, a week notice, 2 weeks notice before, you don't see what's going on behind the scenes and the money they're putting in, the time you guys are putting in to do that. And people want to go out there and just talk,
say anything,
and be trolls all over the internet. So, I mean, I think that's very ignorant to do that. But, I mean, I give you props on that, just going through all that, and it's still even coming in to talk to us,
Sure.
We're not a big ESPN show or anything. You still take your time to come in.
You guys are my family, man. I don't care if I had 1 million followers or 100 followers. I enjoyed coming in and chatting with you guys about, even though not about MMA.
Yeah.
And listen to you guys talk about basketball and shit, because I learned stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big basketball fan, but I put money on the Suns. Let's go. So,
so you got some money back on the Suns?
Oh, I mean, $1,300, which is a lot of money, but
that's good.
It's not $20,000.
Hey,
I'm still grinding.
He's putting a dent in it. I put something on it. A little bit. Oh my goodness. But moving forward, like, what do you see for yourself moving forward now? Because this one, you got a full fight camp. That was my thing, because the second you announced your fight, I was like, we got a fight camp. Yeah. So I was really, really excited, because your last few fights had been 2 days notice and a week notice. So for this one, you had a full fight camp. So that's the reason why you felt so good. So
and was this the last fight on your contract?
No, I have 2 more fights in my
contract. You have 2 more. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a slippery slope, man. The UFC contract can be cut at any time. I could have 10 fights left on the contract.
Sure.
And they can cut me.
But with the fact you've taken fights on short notice, that has to help you, right?
Yeah, it's not going to hurt. What I mean? I truly felt this was my real UFC debut. That's the real Justin Jaynes in there, coming in swinging and slugging. My first 4 fights, win or lose, 2-day notice, 2-week notice, 1 week notice. So it's, I don't know what's next for me. I don't know what the UFC has planned for me. I'm very grateful for the opportunity they've given me. I'm very grateful for the money I've made over the last year. It's I'm preparing for the worst, and I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to go tonight. I'm going to Michigan for a week and to spend time with family, really spend time with my son, and do some fishing, and just try. And I'm not trying to sound like a crybaby or anything, but I'm just not in a good spot right now. I just need to get out, and I need to clear my head, and I need to start focusing, because right now, very, very rarely, in the history of my life, I've ever been in a spot where I don't know what I'm going to do. Losses happen all the time. I've lost 100,000 times in wrestling. I've lost in kickboxing. I've lost in MMA. I've lost in the UFC multiple times. But this one's different. So usually after my loss or whatever happens, I already have a game plan of what I'm going to do next. And as I sit here right now, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do.
And it's different, not just because of the money. It's different because you feel like you put in a full camp. This was you, because like you said, everything else was like short notice, and you didn't get to be who you were going into that. So it's not really just about the money.
It's exactly right. And that's what I want people to understand. It's like, I'm not in a financial situation where it's like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat. Like, I'm fine. I mean, I would, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have the extra money and pay some bills with it, but I was much more broke 2 years ago. You know, I mean, from the day I moved to Vegas until June of 2020, I made less than $20,000 each year.
Yeah.
You know, and I live like a king, at least my version of a king. You know, I got my guns, I got my fishing equipment, I got my hunting equipment, you know, and that's all I need to be happy. You know, I drive a 10-year-old car, I drive a 15-year-old truck. As long as it runs, I'm happy, dude. I don't need millions of dollars. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would help paying bills, and I'm not trying to.
But you're not a materialistic type guy.
I'm not a materialistic guy, dude. I wear, man, I'm gonna wear these shorts till there's holes in them, man. I'm gonna wear my these flip flops are over a year old. You know what I'm saying?
You are a true Michigan.
Yeah,
my wife's from Michigan.
Yeah, dude. It's like, you know, I come from a little small country town, man, and you know, it's I just want to make, you know, I honestly, like, coming from that town, everyone does the same thing, and I'm not saying it's wrong. Everyone, you know, very proud town. You know, we're all farmers and we're all, you know, doing this and that, but I want people coming up seeing me and realize, hey, look, there's more to life than farming. There's more to life than being an entrepreneur or being a plumber. You know,
you could do something you want to do. You can live a dream.
You want to do, and I'm really hoping with this loss, with my whole journey, that, I mean, Josh, tell me, like, when you were a kid, man, you remember making that 3-point shot, fucking buzzer beater, boom, done. Yeah. I remember catching the end zone, you know, from Brett Favre, Super Bowl touchdown. You know, I was fortunate. I was able to experience that moment, and I come from Richmond, Michigan, man. You know, and I'm proud where I come from. I love my hometown. I love going back. You know, and we have an insane wrestling program. I want some of these young wrestlers to look up and be like, Justin Jaynes did it. You know, I'm slightly above, you know, from an athletic factor. You know, I'm slightly above average, I would say, but I'm not running a 4.340. I'm not dunking. You know, I'm not. My footwork isn't great. You know, it's just right here. You know,
and here,
yeah. You know, and that's what I want some of these kids to see is, you know, the adversities I've been through the last 10 years to get to the UFC are 10, 20 times harder than this loss that I'm going to be going forward. And, you know, give me a week, and I'll be back on my feet, and I'll have a game plan, and, you know, just keep moving forward, man. I'm hoping, and I think the UFC is going to give me another chance, because, again, this was my official UFC debut, my real UFC debut. And again, there's a couple things that, you know, I could fix. Watching the fight, it's like, man, I should have done this, I should have done that, and hindsight's always 20, but one foot in front of the other. If I can motivate some people with this loss, you know, and see, and the comeback story is even better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm already calling for a rematch with Charles Rosa. Charles Rosa doesn't want this smoke again. He knows that he was almost out. And, you know, if I, you know, did a couple different things, you know, in the fight, you know, I didn't realize he was as rocked. We're watching it here. It's easy to see, like, oh shit, he's rocked. I knew he was hurt. Don't get me wrong. I could feel the punches land, but I didn't see in the fight. I didn't see his knees buckle. I didn't see him, like, you know, wobbled. Like, I just knew he was hurt. And
that's interesting. So you don't necessarily see that all the time.
Yeah, same thing with Devontae Smith. You know, after rewatching Devontae Smith, you know, I hit him with an overhand, and I watched him, you know, do the stanky leg across the ring. In my head, I was like, he just slipped. I thought he slipped, but after watching it, I'm like, he didn't slip. He was hurt.
Because we're getting all the camera angles, and we're getting the best camera angles.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So you're seeing from your eyes, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because a week prior, let's talk about this Nate Diaz fight. I don't know if you guys watched Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
You know, Nate Diaz cracked him in the 5th round, and he's pointing at him. And I had money on Nate, and I'm like, why are you not finishing?
We talked about that,
doing?
Yeah.
Well, Jake Shields is one of Nate's coach. Jake Shields is my coach. So when Jake got in to corner me, I was like, dude, what's up with your boy, man? Why isn't he finishing? He goes, Justin, he didn't know. It's simple. He didn't know.
Wow.
And by the time he did realize that he was hurt,
he's not hurt anymore.
Or he's not as hurt.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Because, I mean, that flash is you only have a 5-second window, and that's not a very long window. You crack somebody like I cracked him. I knew he was hurt, but I didn't see his knees buckle. I didn't see him, you know, wobble. And the same thing with Nate. Nate had blood in his eyes, and you know, allegedly he didn't see. And I believe him because
you don't know what's going through their head too. They're thinking about a lot of things. It's the end of the fight, and so he's probably thinking, "What am I going to do? The fight's over."
Sure.
That's crazy. PD, you got something?
Yeah.
Well, I got a lot. My pastor bells are going off.
I could tell
a lot right now because I feel the compassion and as a father and a grandfather coming out of you. I know you're not supposed to ask these questions.
You can ask whatever you want, man.
My son was drafted by the Mets twice, so I have a love-hate relationship with sports. and he got drafted twice and still never made it to the minor leagues. So it's hard for him to look at life beyond working for this goal for 10 years. For you, what might be after fighting if this season changes?
Man, it's I've always had a plan, because fighting is temporary, and I've always I always thought I could make a difference in the community being a police officer. I'm very calm, cool, collected, confident. Obviously, I can hold my own, but it's right now, Metro Police is, and I feel that they need good cops right now. They need people really helping the community.
Yeah.
And I feel that is my calling, because again, I'm super level-headed. I'm not emotional. Given all the circumstances, I don't overly analyze things or get over emotional about things. And I really think that I could do a lot of good in the community at Metro Police.
And you could take somebody down pretty quick.
And not hurt somebody and do it the right way.
Yeah.
I've been helping Metro with their defensive tactics for the last 5, 6, 7,
Oh,
8
wow.
years.
Nice.
Not on a daily basis,
Sure.
but once a year, they'll come in and and they'll show me, all right, this is what we're taught. And with the world we live in these days, police get a lot of flack.
Yeah.
And it's what they're taught is just it's silly. Like, it's like elementary to me. Like, this is what you're taught. Like, you're not gonna be able to subdue a grown man.
Wow.
This way, you just
Especially
can't.
somebody that might be high on drugs.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. So there's a couple things that I really want to try to almost. I'm not gonna say reform, but it's like we need to throw this shit out. This is 1960s
Agree.
bullshit that doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Totally
man.
agree.
Yeah.
Like, there's I think that police should be held accountable for their grappling. I really think that if you want to become a police officer, you should be ranked in jiu-jitsu. I don't think you should be a
Wow.
black belt, because it takes 10 years to get a black belt.
Yeah.
You should be a blue belt. You should be, you can earn a blue belt. And
You should have a belt.
you should have a belt, and not just one to hold up your pants.
Yeah.
Because I feel that, if we could transition this over to, to a grappling aspect, there's so many ways to subdue people without, I don't want to say without hurting, because if you're trying to subdue a human being, obviously there's going to be a struggle and stuff, but there's better ways to do it. And I really think
Quicker and more efficient.
quicker, more efficient, more effective.
Without having to pull out your gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That to me, that's a last resort. And when I say last resort, I mean last resort.
Yeah.
I think that me getting into Metro and me really pushing this envelope, I really think that I could really help the department and maybe help some people as well. Especially these petty crimes that people are getting killed from. Because it escalates so fast. I feel that I can really
You're
de-escalate
speaking my
some
love
situations.
language. You can get me on a real rabbit trail here, because I think the police force needs to be something that's like a part of the military branch, to where there's elite training.
Yeah.
And he said something that's significant. You're in a tough week right now. You need some downtime, right? So he's going to go home, kind of unwind, get with the family. There's no days off in police officers. They get a weekend off, but they're back at it.
Yeah.
Every stop, and I have a lot of police officer friends that I used to roll with as well. And every stop, they're anxious. Every stop, they're nervous. So you do that, 5, 6 days a week. You're always on. So they don't get no downtime. Is what I'm saying, to kind of just unwind and unplug from the grind of it. So go get it, man.
Yeah, it's and that could be this year, it could be next year, it could be 10 years from now. It might never happen, but I want to keep helping with the defensive tactics, and after this fight, I want to get with maybe a department and be like, hey, look, I'll give free lessons once a week. If you guys want to come down and just enroll for an hour, you know what I mean, in the proper way, again, because I've done a lot of ride-alongs, and that I've been asked to subdue a person before, and I'm talking about a guy that's smaller than me. We're maybe 6 foot tall, 140 pounds, tall and lengthy. And man, I had a hard time. Like, they're like, just hold his arm behind his back. We're talking about a real criminal. Like, this guy was drunk and he was being belligerent. And one officer had the other arm and I had the other arm. Like, oh man, I'm this guy, I'm the man. Dude, it was not easy, dude. This guy was strong, man. I don't know if he was on drugs or drunk or what. And I'm like, all right, because I'll watch and I'll see like 3 police officers jump on a fugitive.
Yeah,
sure.
It's like, why do you need 3? I don't get that, man. But when I felt, when someone doesn't want to be subdued and you're trying to subdue them, they're a lot stronger than you'll.
Especially when they don't care.
Exactly.
They don't care.
So that was eye opening to me, man. And and I really think, again, it's something that this is a direction I could go and really help some people.
Yeah,
Be awesome.
Now, do you? I know that you're a hunter and you're a fisher.
Yes, sir.
So when's the last time you've gone and and cast the line in the water?
Well, I went 2 weeks ago. And
Okay.
I went to San Diego. I went Mako shark fishing, and it's the prime season for that. And again, just one of those things that lined up perfect. I was like, man, it's fucking trophy Mako season. I get to fight the following weekend. I caught 2 Mako sharks that were over 600 pounds.
Wow.
It was.
That's
just,
why your arms blown,
Dude,
Justin.
yeah.
I figured it out.
Dude,
I figured it
you,
out.
man. It was like strapping
That's
in.
awesome.
Like they strap the rod to you.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
And my thought is like, if this reel jams, I mean, I'm going over.
You can get pulled in, yeah.
And it's and these sharks are big. We're talking 600-pound sharks, man. And I'm fighting them for 2 hours. And my girlfriend was with me. We had a great time. And I'd pass the rod off to her, and she'd be, nah, you take it back. Shit, I just need a break, man. So, it was a blast, man. I was very, very fortunate. Some people fish their whole life and never catch one 600-pound. I caught 2 in one day. So I was let's go. Jack, shout out to Captain Jack Shark Fishing. Let's go.
How long did it take to reel one in?
2 hours.
Whoa.
I believe it was 2 hours was the first one. And I'm talking about a nonstop fight. And the second one was about 2, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours.
Whoa.
I get him up to the boat, and he wraps himself around the engine, breaks the line. I was like,
Oh, my
gosh.
Oh my
We still got some good pictures and stuff. And the sharks were so big, we couldn't even, I wanted to keep one to eat, but they were so big we couldn't get them on the boat. Like, we couldn't
Oh, wow.
physically get them on the boat. So we just get them next to the boat and cut the line. So. Yeah, it was awesome, man. So I got a great deer hunting trip coming up with my buddy Clint. It's going to be an hour north. That's going to be in September. I got an elk hunting in September. My son's coming back out. A white-tailed deer coming up in October. That's the things I'm looking forward to.
And you, I know hunters. You eat the entire, or you use the entire animal.
For the most part, you know, it's like all the meat comes off, and you know if. I'm still eating elk from 2 years ago, man. My freezer's packed, dude. I give it away, man. I just have so much, and it's very healthy. It's very lean. It's very natural, and man, I love it, man. It's so much more. Like people are like, oh yeah, I get a lot of flack on Instagram for hunting and fishing, but dude, it's so much more than killing. And I wish people would understand that. Like you're like, I go out for 2 weeks and I kill one animal, you know, but that whole 2 weeks, I'm never by myself, and if I am by myself, it's like it's refreshing, fresh air, you know, getting exercise in, and you know, most of the time I'm with my son or you know somebody, and this is bonding time, dude. We're sitting there at the campfire talking shit to each other, you know, having fun, you know, razzing each other a little bit, and it's more about that time spent together, and then the ultimate outcome, you know, is you know hope to get an animal, and sometimes you don't get one, and you know it's a bummer when you don't, but again, all the time, like,
all the time that was spent.
Check this out, quick story. You know, I don't want to hog the mic here.
No, you're good.
Time,
No, you're good.
This is your time to hog.
This
the mic.
is your
You're
show.
Good. You're good. This is the Justin time.
We were tuna fishing. Me and my buddy Clint and my other buddy Corey were out 50 miles off the coast of San Diego. We went for 5 days. We didn't catch a single tuna. We didn't get a single hit. But on the 4th day, this whale surfaces next to our boat, and like this 70-foot mammal. And I had a couple beers, and I'm like, you know what? I want to jump in the water and swim with this son of a bitch.
You are country, bro.
No, you remember you showed it to us. You did show it to us. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, I jumped in the water, and the boat kind of drifted away, and the whale kept getting closer to me, and I'm like, oh shit! So I'm panicked in this 50-degree water, and next thing I know, the whale's right next to me, and next thing I know, after the whale being right next to me, the whale's in between my legs, and I'm riding it on its back.
Wow.
And you know, being Lane Frost, I put one hand in the air, and I was just like, woo, like this 70-foot mammal. And I felt like it was an emotional connection. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But we didn't catch any fish. Moral of the story, we didn't catch any fish, but still it was a great story.
But you caught a great story.
Yeah,
And it's just funny that people are outraged about everything and anything. And you know, you're mad that they kill the animal and eat it, but you're eating
a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Well, you're eating a cheeseburger, or you're eating leaves, and aren't plants living?
Plants live too.
Hey, I grew up hunting, and I tell you, there's a respect when you harvest an animal of the work. I think there's a connection that's different than just buying the meat I got in your freezer.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you forgot.
No, I ain't gonna forget. I got a lot of
ribeyes,
meat over there. But no, you have a respect for it. You when you're eating your deer or elk, I'm telling you, you connect with that moment that it gave its life, so you can live.
And it always tastes better. I don't know why. Like it could just be whatever. It's just it always tastes better. If I harvest it for whatever reason, it always tastes better to me. So it's like a semi sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
I guess.
Come on, Quan, tell us your hunting stories.
Come on, man.
Huh?
So there was
Back
this
in
girl I met.
1962.
There was this girl I met. I'm done.
No, I did go fishing one time, didn't
One
catch
time.
anything. I've never been again because it was a bad experience. So I have to go with somebody that will help me catch something.
Sure.
I've gone fishing twice. I've caught baths both times. And then we used to go crabbing. Like,
Sure.
I'm from Maryland, so we used to go crabbing. We would almost always get bushels of crabs, but
Quick,
never been
best,
my thing.
best hunting story. I grew up hunting, but my son didn't because we were in the grind of baseball. We went to Ely, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
We show up at the gas station at 10 a.m., which is kind of past the bedding time. These two young kids pull up in an old Toyota with their 40 on top of the dash, and they said, "Excuse me, sir, we are looking for some content, and we are trying to start a hunting company." And they said, "We got a deer bedded down, but it's too small for our client. Can we take you in there and let your son take a shot at it?" And I'm thinking, this is maybe a bad thing. Are these guys going to take us out to the desert and take us out? Story short, swear to you, we went in about 30 minutes, walked in 150 yards. The 2 cameras were set up. The only agreement is you got to use our rifle. My son's never shot at a deer in his life.
He was like 16 at the time,
Yeah,
right?
this is, and I'm like, is this actually happening right now? And sure enough, he shoots, lands his first deer. And so my son's first impression of hunting, this is how it is. You go to the gas station at 10 in the morning. we're heading home by 1. They cut it, put it in a bag for us, and off we went. It's like,
wow.
That is an incredible.
And he had it all on
story.
video.
Like,
I do have it on video.
that's seriously.
They literally, it went
so
to
incredible.
a show, and my son's
That's
runs
crazy.
because now he thinks this is what deer hunting is like, right? And you know it's not like that. You can go for weeks, the whole season, not get nothing. So.
I had a similar experience. That I took one of my students. I told him if he won this national grappling tournament, I would fly him back to Michigan and we go deer hunting. He took second. He's all bummed. He's like, "I guess we're not going to go hunting." I was like, "No, we're going." So he took him. We weren't sitting for 10 minutes, just like this story. He shoots a deer.
Ruined him.
And he's like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever." Well, he's like, "Well, I had 2 tags. I had a buck tag and a doe tag," and he shot a doe. And so the next couple days, we'd sit for 30 minutes. He's like, "I don't think there's deer here." I was like, No. There's deer here. We just gotta wait. We just gotta wait. So that's actually an incredible story because guides never do that.
Yeah.
Like that is insane.
Well, they were
That's
young
so
and
lucky.
they were young and drunk, so
Sure,
it was
sure.
actually, they're from country at 10
Oh,
in the morning. They were
Ely,
buzzing.
absolutely.
Oh, bro.
10 in the morning, you're lit up.
They were
Like,
lit.
how are you lit up at 10, bro?
A 40 on the dash at 10 in the morning. I'm like, all right.
It's that kind of morning.
Breakfast,
yeah.
breakfast of champions. Man, let's get back to the fight, though, because we watched this fight with you, and it's always interesting when we bring people in here. We've watched fights with Chaos before. We watched fights with Jamal before. And when we're watching the fight with you guys, because you're telling us stuff that we had no idea that happened with the injury, with different things. And like you said, different things that you're seeing watching the fight over again that you didn't see while you were in there. What I saw is you winning 2-1. What your friend's wife saw was
30-27.
30-27. And tell us about that, because I feel like you won the fight, and that's not me being biased because you're here. But you look like you won the first. I wouldn't say easily because he did, do some damage at the end of the first, but you won most of the first round. And then the third round, to me, was not even a question. So tell us your thought process going into that.
It was fuck, man.
And just even rewatching that again.
Yeah.
And
Confessional time. Go ahead,
it's
man.
confessional time, man. Like I said, man, I thought I stuck to the game plan really well. I hit him with big shots in the first. I was watching. I looked at the stats, and he outstruck me 3-1. And I'm thinking, like, where did he? Like, I don't have any marks on my face.
Yeah.
Where are all these strikes coming from? And it's man, it's tough. That first round, I hit him a bunch of times. I personally feel MMA should be judged on damage and attempts to finish.
Yeah.
The whole fight I was trying to finish. Obviously, I'm throwing bombs at the end of the first. He takes me down. I got a little overzealous. With pressure, takes me down. I reverse the situation in about 5 or 10 seconds. So I felt that negated the takedown. So with those hard shots I was landing, I thought I won the first.
Yeah.
Second round was a very boring, lackluster round. He won from being boring. The third round, he took me down, but again, he didn't do anything, and that's the most
and
frustrating.
you thought
part.
it should have been stood up in the second round, correct?
Yeah, because we're in a stalemate position, and he's not doing any damage, and he's hitting me with these little shots. I even said, "All right, you'll see." Like, several times I'm just like, "All right, come on, let's go." Like, I'm a stand and bang. I want exciting fights. When people see me fight, I want them to think, "Oh man, this guy's he's swinging for the fences." Grappling, even being a college wrestler, it's boring, man. I don't even like to watch people grapple.
Yeah.
I want to see people. I'd rather see a street fight. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody go down.
Yeah, I want to see somebody get cracked. And in the third round, I knew I hit him with some big shots, but when he went up against the fence and I clinched him, my arms were starting to slow down, and I didn't have the same pop on my punches. And when I clinched and he reached over top, it was just reaction to take him down. And as soon as I took him down, I was like, all right, we're going to get a side choke because he's susceptible. Watching Bryce Mitchell, the Bryce Mitchell fight, knowing that he'll give me the side choke. So I really practiced hard with Jake Shields on being able to finish the side choke in late rounds, and I found the side choke, and that's probably the best thing Charles did was defend himself in that side choke, and there's 30 seconds left, and I had his back, and I was just so gassed at that point because again I let it all out there, I let it all hang out there, and I was in fantastic shape. It's man, I could say all these things I should have done different, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Now, you talked about how you were gassed at the end of the third, and before we were talking about Nate Diaz, and can you talk about just kind of what kind of freak of nature he is to be in the fifth rounds? Because he's always known for these late flurries of just where is he finding this energy? Where is he going? What do you think you have to do to kind of get to have more of a gas tank to continue to push forward?
It's either. So we're talking about two totally different styles.
Okay.
All right. So Nate Diaz has an incredible gas tank. Don't get me wrong, but just like a Max Holloway type, he doesn't load his punches. All right, because he's long and he's very fluent. So he's just throwing. So think of like if you have a gas tank and and I'm throwing 50% power, I'll be able to throw punches at 50% power for twice as long. Well, when I throw my punches, I have bad intent behind every single punch, and it's not saying that's better or worse, but it's I have to because Nate is long and he can stay at range. I'm not long. I have a 67-inch reach. So when I hit somebody, they need to feel it. They need to know they were hit. When Nate hits people, he's like taking a claw hammer to a rock. He's just tap, 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 and eventually the rock breaks. Me, on the other hand, I'm more of a sledgehammer. Bang! So I'm using so much more energy to throw one or two punches.
One punch,
exactly. Oh. So if even if me and Nate are at the same cardio level, I'm going to get tired quicker because again I'm loading my punches. He just lets them fly. Again, it's just a a lot of guys. There's a guy named Zach Jusola. I don't know if you guys had him on the show. He fights like that as well. He's just pop, 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 pop. Me, I turn my shots over. So it's not something that I could do I just have to practice like that, and that's what I do. And when I say I was gassed, there's something that always happens in a fight. You're always going to get tired and you're always going to get hurt. It's all about how can you persevere through that pain? How can you persevere through that being tired? And I gave it everything I had, man. I did the best I could, and given the circumstances I was in for how I felt, it is what it is, man. It's fucking sucks.
And being that tired and still, some of those shots in the third were ridiculous. So it didn't look like you were tired to me, seeing how hard those hits were. So being that tired and still being able to do that is amazing. Because I don't know, man. I can't throw one swing without getting tired. I changed the tire last night. I couldn't even move anymore.
Oh my God.
That's how out of shape I am, Joshua.
We got to do better. We got to do better, man. Like seriously, we have to do better.
We're getting there.
That's all right. Look, we get this thing to the next level. We're getting we got enough friends now. We got some real personal trainers.
Yeah, that's right.
I've always wanted to ask this: when you get kicked in the legs, how many does it take to feel like, man, I'm done?
It's all about placement. There's actually a nerve on the outside of your knee that if you get kicked there, it's going to feel like that your leg almost went to sleep. And it's instant.
And that's what's happened to
what happened?
McGregor?
No, the guy against
I know.
Smith.
His ankle went wobbly, right?
It was versus Smith. Yes, that's right. And his foot, he had drop foot, and he couldn't. Like, his foot was like done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just because you hit a nerve. It's when I fought Gabriel Benitez, who is probably the hardest kicker I've ever faced in my whole career. He destroyed my legs, but he was hitting like the quad, the big muscle.
Jimmy Crute.
Jimmy
Crute.
Yeah. That was awesome.
So since McGregor lost his last fight, they started talking about these calf kicks. I'm sure they've always been there, but why are they getting so much attention lately?
Because someone like a big name got hurt with them. It's like they've been around forever. People have been doing them forever, but it takes someone like Conor McGregor to get hurt by him. Like, oh wow, these are legit. And Charles Rose had a great game plan. He attacked my front leg. I didn't expect him to do it as much as he did. Actually, I shouldn't say I didn't expect him to do it. I didn't expect him to have as much success because he's a good kicker, but he's not great. And Gabriel Benitez again is the best kicker I've ever faced, and he didn't hurt me like Rosa did. And unfortunately, in somewhere in the second round, that I found out, I chipped my shin bone. And that's why I was switching stance in the third.
So guys, listen to what he just said. He chipped his Chin bone.
Yeah, I got a little chip on the front of my shin bone. Nothing you can do. It's not like it's a compound fracture or anything.
That just heals.
But you feel it.
Yeah. Oh, I feel it. Even today, I feel it today walking, man. So,
Wow.
it's just eventually it's going to fill up with calcium and it's going to harden over and my leg is going to get stronger.
It will be better.
It'll be better.
Faster.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it'll be probably like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, I'm probably gonna feel the pain for a while.
Yeah.
I probably won't throw any kicks probably for 2 or 3 months, and on to the next. That's it.
Now, did anybody from UFC, because I know Dana White complains a lot with the judges, did anybody talk to you after that from the UFC to talk about, the 30-27 that obviously shouldn't have been there?
No, nobody did. Somebody wrote me on Instagram that Dana White said that he had me winning the fight as well.
Wow.
But I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what somebody messaged me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I heard Dana said that he's so sick of these judges and he thought you won the fight.
He does complain all the time. I mean, at every post-fight press conference, he's complaining about the judging.
But he can fix it.
He cannot. He
No,
cannot.
it's
commission,
you can't. It's commission.
It's all
Yeah.
commission.
Oh, he
they
can't.
He cannot.
They don't. No.
Right.
They're their own
totally separate entity.
They don't get to hire their own judging.
No. Never.
Really?
It's under Nevada
Another
commission.
matter
Yeah.
commission, yeah. So and I'm not saying that. I don't know if he said that or not. I didn't hear him say that, but someone told me he said that.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, man. You guys could all say that I won.
Yeah,
the fight
exactly.
30-27.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He said I won the fight 30-27.
When Natalie Bird starts saying that I won the fight, I know something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like she's man. You know what? I'm not. Never.
I know you say that because that's good therapy, but just even like the college guys yesterday, the announcement that they can start getting paid for their likeness.
Yes.
This is affecting your livelihood for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right. Not to get on my son's bandwagon, but you know who took his spot was Tim Tebow.
Oh no way! Wow.
Because that was the
On the
year that was
Mets.
the year Tim's like, well, I think I want to come back, and they told my son, well, he sells more T-shirts.
Wow.
So there's devastating things where kids have been working for their whole life for a moment, guys like you for your whole life, and it does matter. So is there a way we can start to voice? Because just saying, I can say whatever I want, it doesn't change the fact that this is going to change your livelihood the rest of your life.
I wish there was, man, but at the end of the day, just chalk it up. Everyone's gonna forget
going
about it
hunting.
in a week.
I'm gonna go on.
and that's the thing with
Yeah.
sports is
Yeah.
everyone in 1 week everyone's gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
And it's never gonna be mentioned again. I'm gonna be under press for a week, maybe
Yeah.
10 days, and on to the next. It's
Might come up with your next fight.
yeah.
Would you ever do that again? Would you ever bet on yourself again?
I'd like to say I would. I really believe in myself and through all the adversity I faced, and but at the end of the day, I still have bills, and if I find myself in a good financial position, and
Let's get these sponsors to pay for it.
Let's
That's
get these
it.
sponsors.
Get the
and,
sponsors to pay for it.
You
It'll
know,
be fine.
I loved it, man, and there was, and I don't regret it because in my training, there was a couple times I'd wake up at 10 a.m. and I'd be sore, I'd be battered, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna skip this training session. It's like, wait a second, you got 20 grand on this fight, you get your ass up, you go to the gym,
Mm.
and that was
It was a different
it
motivator.
was a different motivation, man. I can't, and everything was so perfect, dude. It's just like out of all the training, I never missed a training session. I always was putting in extra work because of this. That was my motivation. The bet was my motivation. I didn't want to look stupid, when like I do now.
No,
you don't look
But
stupid.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean. And
Yeah.
I think that my biggest thing is, like guys like Chael Sonnen, he comes out on his podcast and he talks about, oh, I admire him for doing this. This is the greatest. This is great, but I don't buy it. He's lying, and it's just like what. So I contacted Chael's boxing coach, and I was like, hey, because everyone's like, send me your betting slip. Send me your betting slip. Well, I had bookies, and so now I have to screenshot and circle all the numbers and to provide.
And you shouldn't have to prove anything to anybody.
And I mean, I get it. He doesn't know me,
Yeah.
and anybody that knows me well is going to be like, oh, I'm not surprised he
Yeah.
did this. This is not out of characteristic of him. I'm very, listen, I've had $1,000 in my bank. Rent's due. It's like, well, I'm gonna go play poker and see if I can get rent. You know what I mean? And I'll take that whole $1,000 and I'll go lose it. You know what I mean? It's,
Wow.
it's just not a far-fetched character. It's just something I've always just been all in, man. So
And see, me being born and raised out here in Vegas, like I've heard those stories a million times. So it's not a shock that somebody put money on themselves and it's betting. And, because I've seen people put a lot more money that make less on stuff and lost it, and so it's not a surprise for someone like me that's been around it forever, that's even had friends and that had to move out of Vegas because of, gambling and betting and stuff like that. But now it was a 10 a.m. fight. And this was publicized pretty heavily. Do you know any ratings? Like, did this help ratings that early in the morning anymore? Because you were the second fight of the morning.
Yeah, it's that's one thing that I got people to tune in, I got people to watch, man, and you know what, people now, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not a big name, but guess what? People didn't know me before, and a lot more people know me now. They tuned in at 10 o'clock in this time in Vegas time, 1 o'clock Michigan time. I was told that again, and I don't know if this is official or not. That I mean, I shouldn't say it is official. Like my fights talked about more now than the main event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like. And, it was an exciting fight, but, it's at the end of the day, man, I just want people to believe in themselves as much as I believe in myself. And, what, I still believe in myself. I still believe in my ability. If I find myself in a good financial position going into my next fight, especially if I can get a rematch with Rosa, let it run, baby. I need to get that money back, so let's go.
Yeah. No, and it's good. I mean, that's good marketing. So, I mean, that's you're taking a bet on yourself, but you're also taking a bet on you're putting in money for marketing, too,
Justin, what's your nickname?
The Guitar Hero.
Man, it's Justin All In Jaynes. That's we're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to change it to All In.
I think that's.
How did you become the Guitar Hero?
Man, we were drinking in college, man, and somebody dared me to grab his Guitar Hero came out when I was in college. Grab the guitar and strum it all the way to the cage and dance and sing and I did it, and everyone thought it was the craziest thing because I was relatively a boring fighter when I was in college. I'd just take guys down and lay on them and look for a rear naked choke, so I needed a gimmick to get people excited. So and then nobody knew who I was, but I can't tell you how many times, aren't you the guy that strummed the Guitar Hero all the way out to the cage? I mean, it happened all over the state.
That's
and
hilarious.
that was me. So I did it in Vegas, and then I'd wear a shirt that says I shaved my balls for this. And
all right,
people always remembered that. Like, people still come up to me today. Ralph Cook, almost kicked me out of a fight one time. I was walking this game, and he said, "That's you can't wear that." And me and Ralph got in this thing, and Ralph Cook was head of the commission.
I'm gonna get you one of those shirts to wear on Sunday morning.
I can't wait to tell my wife what I learned today about my friend here.
Goodness.
What you learned today?
It's but again, I was a boring fighter, so I needed to find ways to get people excited to see me fight. Whether my fight was boring or not, they wanted to see me fight. And then I started knocking people out. I started working with Carol Rowe, 17-0 world champion boxer over at Kronk and World's Best Gym. I started working with her. I started knocking people out. Once I started knocking people out, I stopped doing these gimmicks because it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest. Like,
can you give us a demo? I'm curious.
Of what?
The guitar.
Oh man, come on! Like,
what song would you come out to?
TNT Dynamite. And I was
okay.
Oi,
there you go.
Like,
I knew you had to have something.
There's pictures and videos all over, and I'll share some with you.
But we talk about it all the time. I mean, marketing is important, and we've seen. I mean, Conor McGregor is who he is because of the character he's brought.
Sure.
Notorious.
Same thing. Colby Covington. I mean, there was talks where he was not even going to be in the UFC, and then he created that character. You talked to Jamal before.
Yeah.
Chaos. He has that name already. That's marketable. So you have to do things because there's so many fighters.
Do you guys want to know what I do now before I preach on a Sunday morning?
Uh-oh.
With the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to read our Bibles! 30 minutes of preaching. Sorry.
I think it's awesome.
It works. It works. Oh, man, any last words you want to give him, PD, before we get out of here? Encourage him?
You are an all-in type of guy. I'll be praying for you, and let's get it next time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All in, Justin Jaynes. I like it. I think.
Well, it's kind of a slippery slope because now everyone wonders or expects, oh, well, he should do it again.
No.
Don't.
Just the name. The name is all in, but know
don't.
that I'm here and I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
You need to go in with one of those $1 million man belts.
Yeah, that's right.
Ted DiBiase just make his own belt?
Yeah.
You got an unsanctioned belt?
Homemade. Rock it out to
That'd be great.
Because you can use props, but I haven't had the guts to wear a guitar.
Oh,
yet.
God.
It's thoroughly embarrassing. Trust me, I've embarrassed, especially I've danced and sang like I've got my ass whipped, and it's like, oh, that fucking sucks.
So if you have the T-shirt, Pastor Dan would maybe wear it on a Sunday morning. I shaved my balls for this. I might.
I have 2 T-shirts. I had 3. I lost 1. I have 2.
Oh boy.
So I'll bring. Next time I'm on, I'm wearing it.
Oh boy.
What would Hot Mama say about that, PD?
Hot Mama would not be at church. I'll tell you that right now.
She should be at home though. She'd be excited.
She'd catch the live stream.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Man, goodness. That's amazing, Justin. I appreciate you coming through, man, once again, and you'll be back, man. I'm glad that you have that positive attitude. Keep going. Don't be too discouraged, man, because you will be right back. And man, have fun in Michigan, dude.
Absolutely.
Just relax. kill some animals.
I'll be doing some fishing. I'll be doing some
Bring
fishing.
us some elk.
Yeah.
Bring
Next
in
time
some
I'll bring you some elk, man. Yeah, it's
Definitely.
You haven't even had elk.
You don't know that.
I've never had elk. I've had venison.
No,
I've
I'll
had
eat it.
venison.
$20,000. You
I'll eat
boys haven't
anything.
had no elk.
No, I've never had elk. I've had venison though. I've had deer.
Okay.
It's
but
good.
I haven't had elk before.
What kind? Mule deer or whitetail?
You asking?
Deer's deer. Yeah, deer's deer.
All I heard was this is venison. What is venison?
You thought
Well,
those
it's
those little hot
baby
dogs, right?
No.
Yeah, the Vienna sausage.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I was a baby though. I was younger.
Were you?
I haven't had
Oh,
it in a long time. It's been a while.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Love you.
I believe you. All right, we are out. Justin, I appreciate it, man. We'll definitely get you back in again. You have to just come in and just talk MMA with us.
Anytime, dude. If you guys, I'll
Yeah.
come in every week if you guys want to.
sure.
I might
You
not
got
have
some
I might not have a
downtime.
job. So
You know what I want to do is start like going live during the fights. We obviously can't show the fights live, but
Yeah.
just do reaction shows
Sure.
Yeah.
for like the main cards.
Yeah.
So we might be doing that in the future too.
I think
I'm
we need to
all
do
about
some rolling in here. Watch you
We
guys.
can, man.
Yeah,
They're the college
I got
guys.
mats.
That's
We
right.
do it.
All right.
Got some.
I do got mats.
Let you and Josh go at it.
Yes. I would love to hug.
No,
I'll be
he
the
looks
ref.
like he's in decent shape.
I'd love to man hug.
You don't think you can get him?
I don't know.
I'm old, man.
No,
I'm in my
see,
50s.
I'm looking those traps.
I'm in my
he's
50s,
he's
man.
in here shaking the boobs. I can't do that. I'm not his
You
thing. No.
Give us a demo, Quan. Jump.
Right over here starts twitching.
That's right.
Get us off there.
That's right.
Get us
That's
off
right.
there.
We're out.
Love you.
Download the app. Download the app.
Se la pasa por Manhattan y quiere un
Well done.